So I would like to thank each and everyone who have gathered here. At first, I would like to thank our resource persons, Shri Krishna Mohan Shalabu and Shri Shambhaya, for gracing the occasion. Thank you, sir. And also I would like to thank President of today's function, Shri Satish Rao, Vice President of Vivekananda Vidyavardhana Sangha. Thank you, sir. I thank Shri Ravindra P, President Vivekananda PU College. Thank you, sir. And also I thank Dr. Manmohan, Secretary, Alumni Association, Vivekananda College. Thank you, sir. I thank Shri Gopala Krishna Bhatt, Correspondent, Vivekananda PU College. Thank you, sir. I thank Srimati Vatsala Rajni, Member of Governing Council, Vivekananda PU College. Thank you, ma'am. And also I thank Shri Mahesh Vitalapuras, Principal, Vivekananda PU College. Thank you, sir. And also I thank Vamana Pai, Treasurer of Vivekananda Alumni Association, Vivekananda College. Thank you, sir. And also I would like to thank all the staff members, governing council members. We have with us V.G. Bhatt, Principal of Vivekananda Degree College, and also we have media members, old students. I thank all of them for coming and gracing this occasion. Thank you. Sir, we are eagerly waiting to hear your words. Now the stage is for you, sir.
the body is moving, if you want to increase the speed or decrease the speed, you can do using propulsion system. That is the precise meaning of propulsion system. So in the case of rocket, it carries both fuel and oxygen. If you take a motor car, normally you fill with the petrol. But petrol is not sufficient. For that, it sucks air from the atmosphere. The oxygen what is there in the air, it uses for combustion. That is why the car is moving. In the case of rocket, since it is flying in the area where no air is available, it has to carry the oxygen. Okay, whereas in the case of aeroplane, it carries only fuel, it sucks air from the atmosphere. Okay, good. So, these propulsion systems are rocket works on the principle of Newton's third law of motion, where is action, the rocket responds by moving in the opposite direction. Action, if you see this figure, gas goes, air goes, the reaction force is pushes back. Similarly, in the case of rocket also, when a gas is nozzle is a I can tell frustum of a cone. If you consider a cone, inside there is a hole. If a high velocity gas is moving, the reaction force pushes the nozzle, or the nozzle is attached to the rocket, so rocket in turn moves. It is nothing but our Diwali cracker. Many people are seeing, you are firing the rockets by keeping in the bottle. You can see when you lit the rocket, it moves upwards because there is small amount of fuel in the propellant in the form of solid particles. It burns and it imparts velocity for the gases, and these gases, when it is moving in the high velocity, it pushes the rocket. That is why Diwali crackers are going up. Same principle is being used in the actual rockets also. Next please. So these rockets are used in space. Space is a very harsh environment. So all these points I have put here. Space is an unforgiving place. Surviving this environment is very difficult because in the space we are having very high temperature and very low temperature, and it has to sustain the radiation, deep vacuum and magnetic field. All those things are there in the environment. It is not an ideal condition for a person or for an object to survive. Next. So coming to our solar system, you see in the Milky Way galaxy, ours is one of the solar systems, and you can see where is the Earth. Earth is very small. Go next. So if you compare with the sun, you know our Earth is very small. Go next. So this is another view of showing how Earth is looking small compared to other natural satellites. Next. Now coming to brief introduction of our office. See, our office or ISRO comes under Department of Space. Department of Space is directly reporting to Prime Minister of India. So in this you can see ISRO is there. ISRO and Department of Space is headed by a common person. In the name of Department of Space, it is called Secretary. For ISRO, it is Chairman. And under ISRO, there are a lot of institutions are there. Mainly, if you see, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, Liquid Propulsion System Center, Satish Dhawan Space Center, UR Rao Satellite Center, Space Application Center, National Remote Sensing Center, and Human Space Flight Centers are the lead centers of ISRO. Others are small centers. And we are working, myself and Shanbag, we are working in the Liquid Propulsion System Center, which is located in two places, in Trivandrum and Bangalore, and both of us, we are working in the Bangalore campus. And you can see, some of you see that MCF, there is Hassan, one office is there. This is called Master Control Facility, which is mainly meant for controlling the communication satellites. And there are each and every centers, they are having its own definition. For the sake of management, it is structured like this. Okay, go next. So if you see the India, there are different places ISRO units are placed. This for general information I have given for the sake of students. Go next, please. Okay, now ISRO mainly functions in three verticals. One is rocketry, other one is satellite, next one is application of this space program. So, as the name indicates, rocket is used for launching the satellites. Okay, if you see, this is a rocket. This rocket is 640 tons. Total mass of this rocket is 640 tons. And it can put satellite, you can see here, satellite is here. This 640 ton rocket is used for 4-ton class of satellite, and it can put in an orbit of 170 by 36,000 kilometer. So a 640-ton rocket can put a satellite of 4-ton with the velocity of approximately 11 kilometer per second. Same, if I reduce the mass of the satellite to 1 ton, it can give further velocity and it can go to further orbit. On the other hand, if I increase the mass of the satellite to 10 ton, it can put only to 300 kilometer. This is how the importance of rocket comes, and this is where satellite should be as low as possible to use the available rocket. Otherwise, you can see the complexity. To lift 4 ton, 4 ton means hardly 4,000 kg satellite. To put in the orbit, we require a 640 tons of the rocket mass. This 640 ton rocket means its height is 43 meters. 43 meters is, imagine, is almost like 120 feet. 120 is 12-story building or 13-story building. This is the complexity of the rocket. Okay? Next. And you have seen the photo where a rocket is there and satellite is there, and where we are launching. This is launching a place called Sriharikota in the east side of our country. That is Andhra Pradesh. It is located here, and from this we are going to different places. If it is a communication satellite, the horizontal red line is showing. If it is for remote sensing satellite, it is for LEO launch. So depending on the application, we are launching the satellite for different purpose. Next. Now coming to a satellite. Satellite consists of many systems. Mainly structure. Structure, as the name indicates, it has to be able to carry all the heavy items in the satellite. Then propulsion, mechanisms, then telemetry command, power, thermal, and necessary payloads. So as the name indicates, propulsion, as I told you, propulsion is required. Once a satellite is launched, we need to carry this satellite to the required orbit and angle. For that, propulsion system is used. And thermal, as I told in the previous slide, the environment is very harsh in space. So we need to maintain the temperature of the satellite from a definite range, normally 5 degree to 60 degree. So since the temperature in the space goes to a very minus 100 degrees centigrade, so we need to protect. For that, thermal system is used. And power, as you know, without power, we cannot survive. Sometimes there will be eclipse. Sunlight will not be available. Under that circumstances, satellite has to serve. Satellite has to live. For that, power is required. And TTC, RF, all those are communication systems. Next. Now, if you compare our car to a rocket engine, here you see car's power is 88 horsepower. Locomotive railway engine is 3,700 horsepower. Boeing 747, 60,000 horsepower. Whereas rocket is 37 million horsepower. Imagine. Now you see the combustion or the flow rate required. Flow rate means how much it consumes every second. A car hardly takes 3.5 grams per second. Whereas aircraft takes 1000 kg per second. In the 1000 kg in the aircraft, the fuel, like petrol, what is used in the airplane fuel is hardly 1 kg per second. Remaining is the quantity of air what is sucking. Whereas in the case of rocket, both, as I told you, fuel and oxidation has to be carried. So it has to take 2185 kg per second. Imagine 20 quintals has to be burned per second. So compare the speed now. Car, right now, Puttur, Mangalore, we can go on 80 km per hour only. Aircraft will go 900 km per hour. Whereas if you want to inject the satellite, finally rocket has to give the speed of 37,000 km per hour. So this chart I gave because you should get a feeling. Go next, please. Next. Okay, now rocket will put the satellite in an orbit. So it will be it will be going on around the orbit. Now, satellite is used for communication, photography, different purpose. So for that, as you know that, this communication, suppose if you want to communicate from one part of India to other part, satellite position, it acts like a reflector. Many of you are from rural background. I'll give you an example in Canada. Olden days, Soranga Koreadu itto. When electricity was not there, they used to use the mirror. So somebody will put the light. So because of reflection, you can get the light inside the jet cannon or channel or what you call tunnel rather. You can get the light in the tunnel. So same way, how you are putting the light, same way it reflects. The angle of the satellite is very, very important. This angle of the satellite will change because of the solar radiation or Earth's magnetic field. So it will twist. So when the satellite is twisted or tilted, it has to be positioned correctly. For that, since there is no force available, we had to use small rocket which is inbuilt in the satellite. So the rockets are built inside the satellite. That is also called propulsion system. So to fire the rocket, we should have the fuel. To store the fuel, we should have tank. And some valves are required. So complex systems are required. So rocket is also working on the propulsion system. Satellite also to maintain the attitude and altitude, we require the propulsion system. So using the propulsion system, satellites are maintained in the orbit. Normally a communication satellite will be having a life of 15 years. So 10 to 15 years. So once the fuel stored in the satellite is lost, because after the continuous usage, because this disturbance will happen now and then, so we have to maintain the satellite. So once after repeated usage of the fuel rockets in the satellite, the fuel goes off. At that time, satellite life ends and we are losing the satellite. So this is how the use of propulsion system, we are maintaining the satellite. Essentially what we are doing is, some of the times this surrounding orbit, its radius decreases or increases. So whenever this surrounding orbit is disturbed, we have to fire the appropriate rocket and we have to increase the speed or decrease the speed to have to change this radius of the movement, and that is how its altitude is maintained. Next please. So how this is done? All this several times I have told propulsion system. This is how a propulsion system in a satellite looks. See, you can see one is red, other one is green. So the red one is the tank which is used for oxidizer. Instead of oxygen, instead of carrying in the gaseous phase, we are storing in the liquid phase. And the green one is the fuel. And these are the different rockets used. And these are all the various components used to supply the fluid to the rockets. This is essentially called propulsion system for a satellite. This is in liquid propulsion system Bangalore. We are designing and integrating this system to the satellite. And this propulsion system has to be operated anywhere between 10 to 15 years. Immediately after the launch, using this system, we have to put the satellite in the required orbit. And same propulsion system we are used in Chandrayaan 3. Chandrayaan 3, that explanation will come, because immediately after launch, it was in 170 by 36,000 kilometer orbit. And you know, moon is 4 lakh kilometer away. Using this propulsion system, we have increased the velocity series of firing and gone near the moon From the moon, we have reduced the speed and we have landed safely. The entire responsibility of integration, and we have to load around 1.7 ton of the fuel and oxidizer to this, and around 1.5 months, day and night, we have used this system and we have safe landed. The entire responsibility lies on the Liquid Propulsion System Center, Bangalore, where both of us we are working. Next. This is how, here you see how a communication satellite works. In the communication satellite, see this is, I think pointer is not visible. The first ellipse you can see, this is where rocket is putting the satellite. After that, we need to go to 36,000 kilometers from the center of the earth. Why? Because in the 36,000 kilometers, any object, if it is moving, the speed of that object and rotation speed of the earth coincides. Hence, their both relative velocity becomes zero. It will be used, it can be used as stationary mirror. So it is used for communication purpose. And this is how Mars orbiter mission we have achieved and moon mission we have achieved. By using propulsion system, we have changed its velocity and have moved the satellite at different points. Next. This is another typical propulsion system used for a smaller satellite. Next. Next. These are the various components used for a propulsion system. See, the center one, what we call, is a titanium propellant tank. All this propellant or fuel, what we are using for the rocket, is very carcinogenic, means it is highly toxic, highly poisonous, and if anybody inhales, directly it will induce the problem of cancer. So, for that, special materials are required. So, tanks are made such a way that the propellant, when it comes into contact with this type of material, it should not lose its strength over 15 years. And another point is, in your house, the overhead tank, if you see, always, if you pump the water, if you draw the water, always it will be in the ground because of the gravity. Let it be whether the tank is full or whether the tank is almost empty, because of the gravity, water will be there in always in the lower level at the outlet, where water will flow to the tap. Whereas in the case of space, there is no gravity. So, if you put just a tank, after some time, when the tank is half, you cannot ensure that always the fuel or liquid will be available at the outlet. For that, when the tank is empty, because of there is no gravity, if you just put the liquid, it will go in any other position where when the fluid is required at the outlet, it cannot be used. For that, internal some devices are used based on a physics principle, surface tension, capillarity, all these properties are used, and internal some mechanisms are designed such that always at the outlet under microgravity condition also liquid is available. These are some of the other parts. This is a rocket. What you are seeing is a rocket used in the satellite. See, this is what I told cone. Okay, when the high gas flowing through this, force is produced. Since it is attached to the satellite, satellite also moves. Go next. Okay, next. These are the various phases, how we are getting different walls, different tanks, different rocket engines, how it is put in the satellite. This is flow diagram. Next. See, these are the internal devices which is used inside the tank. This ensures that always liquid, though its tank is half empty, always liquid is available at the outlet. Next. Go next. This is another view of the propulsion system used in the satellite. This is how different rockets are used in the different places. You can see how it is being assembled to the satellite. Next. Now these are the various applications of the satellite for watershed, panchayat planning, drinking water, weather, tele-education, telemedicine, training and information. Next. See, now coming to our major topic, Indian missions on moon. We had 3 missions, Chandrayaan 1, Chandrayaan 2, Chandrayaan 3. In Chandrayaan 1, we put the Chandrayaan 1 in a distance of 100 kilometer by 100 kilometer. From the Chandrayaan 1, we have put moon impact probe on the surface of the moon where our Indian national flag was there. And as all known that in the case of Chandrayaan 2, we could not get the successful soft landing. And Chandrayaan 3 is the history, as you know. Go next. See, and in the case of Chandrayaan 1, we have found water in the moon using a payload in Chandrayaan 1. Go next. This is how the rocket puts the Chandrayaan 1 in this orbit. Using the propulsion system, we have captured the moon. Go next. Next, please. This is a Mars. We have also had a satellite called Mars. One satellite surrounding the Mars, it is called Mars Orbiter Mission. When it has taken photo, the dust in the Mars is captured and it is projected here. Next. See, the Chandrayaan 2 and Chandrayaan 3 are similar. So I skip this slide for the paucity of time. Next. 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 Yeah, next. So, coming to Chandrayaan 2, you see satellite will be, see, this is called payload fairing, because when satellite is inside, it has to be protected during the launch, because otherwise lot of friction and heat it is going to experience during liftoff. And when such a rocket is moving such a high speed, to protect the satellite, it is kept inside the heat shield or called payload fairing. If you see here, there are different rockets are there. The two side one is showing solid rockets, center one is a liquid rocket, and the next one is called cryogenic rocket. Now, as I told you, the total lift-off weight is 640 tons. So, to lift this 640 tons, the thrust produced by these two rockets should be higher, such that, suppose if I want to lift a 35 kg person, I should have energy such that I can lift him. So, to lift this 640 ton rocket, initial two rockets are fired, they should produce the thrust more than that, then only it will lift off. After some time, these two rockets are falling, then its overall mass comes down, then further it increases velocity that you are going to see in the video. This is the rocket what is shown in the launch pad. Next. This is how various stages where rocket is built. Next. No audio.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
See, this is a compressed video.
Plus 5 seconds.
Lift off normal, P1 tracking.
R2 tracking.
P2 tracking, stage performance
Is having
normal.
200 tons of propellant.
L1 turn stage ignited.
Plus 2 minutes.
L1 turn stage performance normal.
There is a central engine which is firing and 110 propellant.
200 stages are separated.
1 ton fuel is burnt in hardly around 150 seconds.
Closed loop guidance initiated.
Imagine 10 months, one lorry carries hardly 10 tons. This is how the stages, the burnt stages are separated. See, separated and fallen to the sea. The heat shield where inside satellite was there, it was opened, now satellite is injected. You can see what you are seeing is Chandrayaan lander leg. This is the rocket nozzle you can see here. What is that in the satellite? Now satellite is injected. Using this rocket, we are going to moon. It will come to next. See, now satellite is injected, Chandrayaan 3 is injected, what you have seen now. Go next. Now, she will spend some 1 or 2 minutes. Rocket has injected the satellite here. Now, this is called composite module, where we are having 2 satellites assembled together. As I told you, satellite is having a propulsion system. We have to go to near moon. Available powerful rocket can put 4-ton satellite only to this orbit in our country. Now this velocity is not enough to go near the moon. So for that, we have loaded 1.7 ton of fuel in the propulsion system of the satellite. Now we are firing the propulsion system in the satellite, and we are increasing the speed progressively. It cannot be done at a stretch, because this is a complex mission. We have to fire, and what we have calculated, it will go to that distance. Whether it is attained or not, we have to monitor. It is called orbit determination. There are different stations in the world. Whenever the satellite comes, based on the several instruments available in the satellite, data will be captured, and it will show us that satellite is in this path. So that is why sequentially we will fire. So to reach moon, we have done 5 times firing. That is, 5 times we have fired the propulsion system of the satellite. There is a rocket in the propulsion system. Fuel is available. We have used that fuel to fire the rocket in the propulsion system of the satellite, and we have increased the velocity. This is how progressively 1, 2, see, rocket has put here 1, 2, 3, 4 firing we have done. Now, when in the 4th firing, when it is coming here, we are increasing the velocity further. When we are increasing the velocity further, it has gone near moon. Now, how in the cricket match, when one person hits the ball, he should catch it properly to make him out. Here also same strategy. When the satellite comes here, this is called moon's sphere. Moon's gravitational area it is entering. We have to catch it. Catch it means I have to reduce the speed of the satellite which I have given, increase the speed here. If I am not catching at this point, this fellow will go. It's called flyby. So we have fired here. After 4 days, exactly we have captured the satellite, we have reduced the speed. The moment we reduce the speed, it is coming under the gravitational influence of the moon, and it started orbiting here. See, you can see using the propulsion system, initially it is in the first ellipse, we have increased the speed. Finally, we have increased the speed. Here, we have reduced the speed such a way that it is surrounding the moon. Now we have to further reduce, because our aim is we have to land. So again we have done series of maneuvers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally it has brought to 150 by 150 kilometer. Then what we did, as I told you, there are 2 satellites assembled together. We have separated 2 satellites. One satellite meant to orbit around the moon. Other satellite is we want to land on the moon. So that is how this separation has happened at 150 by 150 kilometer. Then we landed. How we landed, we will see later. Next. So as I told you, how we started the first firing, if you see, we have done for a duration of on 15th 7 July 15th, we have done 689 seconds. Okay. The 173 by 36,000 kilometer was rocket has put the satellite. By firing this 689 seconds, we have increased 36,000 to 41,790. So progressively we have done firing, and we have reached almost 3,69,000 around the moon. Go next. Subsequently, we have reduced the velocity around the moon, and we have came to 152 by 163 kilometer. Next, please. Next. Now, this is the last slide on Chandrayaan. At 150 by 150 or 150 by 160 kilometer around the moon, 2 satellites were there. They were rotating. We have separated. Now, the lander is separated from the orbiter. Now, using the lander, we want the lander to land on the moon. Lander is having several systems and it is having propulsion system also. Now, lander is going in a speed. You know what is the speed? It is 6 times the speed of the aircraft. 6,200 kilometer per hour or 1.68 kilometer per second. To a joke I will make, from here to Hotel Hariprasad in the near first Hariprasad, what you are getting now. After Mangala, this thing, I think it may be 1.68 kilometer. I have to reach in 1 second. That is the speed of the lander. Okay. That 1.68 kilometer per second, we have to make it to 0 meter per second. That is done by the propulsion system in the lander. Propulsion system can be used to increase the speed or decrease the speed. Since there is no air in the moon, we cannot use parachute. We cannot use surface. Many of you might have traveled in the aircraft. When it is landing, its control surfaces are opening. Because of the air friction, air pressure is acting over the surface of the wing. That is why aircraft speed is reducing. But that is not possible here because there is no air. And to find out where this lander is there, no GPS is available. So we have to have host of instruments which is required to measure the velocity, which is required to measure the position, which is required to measure the height, and where we have to land. When I am landing, whether big boulders are there, craters are there. Like how human body works. You should have brain, you should have eye. The views of eye has to be fed to brain. For that you need to have computers. Navigation and guidance system is required. Suppose a person drives a car, left turn is there, I have to go left. So his eye says left, you have to go left. Brain gives command and we are rotating the steering to the left. Like the entire system should be available such that landing has to happen smoothly. For that, we are having navigation. Navigation means it steers how you have to go, it will tell. Then propulsion system. Since there is no air, using the rockets, the high speed object, we have to retard its speed. That means if I am going like this, if I apply a force against this, my speed reduces. That is the act what propulsion system is doing. Then guidance control system. When it is moving, suppose the satellite position is becoming like highly disturbing, then it has to be settled. For that also we have to use the force in the appropriate direction. For that I need to have what you call control rockets. Small rockets are there. Suppose if this object goes like this, I want like this. I will have a rocket in this direction so that if I fire, my object becomes like this. That is called control rockets. Then landing reliability. Landing, what we are doing, that legs to be strong, such a way that if it falls in high speed also, it should be able to tolerate. So all these systems are used. And they are strengthened based on the experience what we got in the Chandrayaan 2 failure. And they have used and we have successfully landed. I'll spend 1 minute how we have landed. As I told you, 150 by 160 kilometer, 2 spacecrafts have separated. lander is there. That lander from 150 by 160 kilometer, we have reduced to 30 by 150 kilometer. All what I am telling is the elliptical orbit. So now we are in the 30 kilometer. In the 30 kilometer, the velocity of the lander is 1.68 meter per second. Rather kilometer per second. 1.68 kilometer per second. This 1.68 kilometer per second, we have reduced to 0 meter per second in 1000 seconds. Imagine in 1000 seconds, 1.68 kilometer per second is reduced to 0 meter per second at a distance of 745 kilometer. What we have done is, there are 4 rockets. By firing these 4 rockets, in 690 seconds, the height is from 30 kilometer to 6.8 kilometer reduced. 30 kilometer, 7.4 kilometer height is reduced. The velocity is reduced from 1.68 kilometer per second to 358 meter per second in 690 seconds. Hardly 12 minutes. Rather 11.5 minutes to be precise. After 690 seconds, craft is continuously coming down. It is slightly tilted. We are measuring the height. See, this entire operation is loaded to the computer 48 hours priorly. And each and every second, it is called automatic landing sequence. Each and all instruments, computer is computes. Rockets are fired, speed is reduced, whether what is the height, according to calculations, this craft is achieved. Based on that, it will give the instructions to the guidance algorithm. It is guiding, but whether it is correct or not, we don't know. For that, height measurement instruments are used to measure the height of the craft from the moon surface, to tell that and compare that height measurement with the calculated value. So if that is okay, it will give clearance. Otherwise, corrections will be done. Then for that, 10 seconds is used. You can see attitude hold phase. In this attitude hold phase, all these computations are conducted. Whether height, what computed 48 hours before we have loaded the program, it will go like this, height will reduce by this much, angle will be like this. All this is computed and put. Whether it is correct or not, by actual measurement in the instruments used on the moon surface, it will be computed and tallied, and if it is okay, it will give clearance. Otherwise, it will suggest the correction. You have to fire extra, you have to give more force, or you have to give reduced force. Everything it will tell. Accordingly, the system will work. Now, after 10 seconds, the height of the craft comes to 6.8 kilometer. That is after 700 seconds. Now, from here, 700 seconds to another 175 seconds, we are monitoring the velocity. Various instruments are used already inbuilt in the satellite. They will measure the velocity using, and we have built the multiple redundancy, that if one fails, other instruments should tell. They are independent measures. Using that independent measuring techniques, we have measured the velocity. So at 690 plus 10, 700, at 875 seconds, at the height of 800 meter, we have seen that craft attained 0 vertical velocity and 0 horizontal velocity. The craft which is horizontal was made vertical. Now at this stage, it is ready to land. So in 875 seconds, the velocity of the craft, which is 1.68 kilometer per second, was almost made 0, and you see legs are vertical. Now here it was horizontal, legs were made vertical. Okay, continuously. Now it is, if we are not balancing the force, it will fall. So here it will hover. Hover is nothing but nowadays For photography, videography, drones are used. You know how wherever you want close photos, drone will stay and it will hover. That is called hovering. So hovering will take place. At that time, if everything is okay, it will follow like this. Otherwise, alternative path is there. So in the case of Chandrayaan 3, everything went as per our calculation. So then what we did, from this post to this position to this position, from 800 meter to 150 meter, in 131 seconds, slowly it came. Then at this point, where I have to land, whether I have to land here or there are cameras. That is called hazardous detection camera. That camera takes the photo, it gives the feedback to the onboard computer, says that this location is okay, I can land here. So it decided. Otherwise we have alternative path and 1 kilometer. We have selected a spot by 4 kilometer by 2.4 kilometer using various techniques, using our own Chandrayaan 2 orbiter. And other previous, some baseline documents were available. So, using that, at this time, initially there are 4 engines. These 4 engines were firing up to here. Here we have reduced the flow. Now, slowly craft is attained. Out of 4 engines, 2 engines are switched off. That is enough. Using 2 engines, hazard detection camera has identified the place for safe landing and we have slowly landed. So approximately in 1000 seconds, the height of 30 kilometer we have reduced to 0 horizontal velocity, 0 vertical velocity and 0 altitude, and we have safely and soft landed. Next. These are the various payloads used in the lander and the orbiter. See, after landing, we are having a Ramba payload. That is to measure the surface plasma ions. There is a chaste payload, which is, we have used, it has drilled the moon surface to a height of 8 centimeter. In the height of 8 centimeter, what is the temperature variation it has measured. Then we have a seismic instrument called ILSA, where it has dropped on the moon surface. Is there any seismic activity happening in the moon surface? That's measured. Then we are alpha particle X-ray spectrometer and laser induced breakdown spectroscope. All these uses you can find in YouTube also. And there is one mode in the orbiting craft, it's called propulsion module, to find what are the signs, signatures available in the earth if you view from the moon, so that any person, anything to live on a surface of the earth, what are the signatures required, what is available. If you see from the moon, similar signatures, if it is available in the other planets, we can find whether any living organisms are there or not. For that, this payload is used. Next. I'll show Chandrayaan 3 landing moon. For Honorable Prime Minister, though he was in South Africa for the G20 meeting, for that during landing time, he watched this entire program. I have a last clipping for your benefit I have added here. Many of you might have watched. See how moon was viewed by the camera on the satellite. This is how. See, satellite is moving, it is seeing moon. This is the camera used in the onboard satellite image. Next, please. There's a rover, like a tiny car inside the lander. It has come up, it's come out, and it has moved. Its velocity is 1 centimeter per second. The actual rover video. And this is our Prime Minister watching the landing. Just click that. Yes, it. Just that video, please. Not coming?
इस फेज के दौरान
You see,
लगभग
the main flame, this is the main rocket.
ऊंचाई पे पहुंचने के बाद लैंडर अगेन
The
लगभग
slide flame, what you are seeing is the control rockets. Now see, velocity is coming down. See, this is
We are
horizontal
above the
velocity,
landing site.
this is vertical velocity.
The horizontal as
You
well
see,
as
altitude is coming down.
velocity is now being constantly reduced.
See, this is a simulation, this is not
The
actual.
lander module has begun its descent towards the landing site.
These flames are main engine, they are main braking. The small one is, the craft is becoming like this, to make it straight, the small other flames, other rockets are used. That is why on and off it is happening.
जी हाँ आप
See, now you see, horizontal velocity is reduced to
जो
0.7,
निर्धारित किया गया
0.8.
लैंडर पूरी तरह से उसी को ही फॉलो कर रहा है। इस समय हम लगभग 200 मीटर की हाइट से भी
During hovering, sometimes the velocity is intentionally it is varied. Now it is reduced to 1 meter per
देख
second.
सकते हैं कि हम लगभग 150 मीटर की ऊंचाई पे
Vertical descent is happening. Last minute we are there.
We are approaching the vertical
About 1 minute
descent
is there
phase 2,
further.
which will have the lander
See, already
module
vertical velocity
hovering at
0.08.
nearly
Slowly we are
150
coming down.
meters above the lunar surface.
जी हाँ आप इस तालियों के गड़गड़ाहट
See, one
को सुन सकते हैं
horizontal velocity
जो कि
has become zero
second
almost.
एवरेज फेज के कंप्लीट होने के बाद इन सारे वैज्ञानिकों के द्वारा की जा रही है। जी हाँ आप अगर फिर से ध्यान से देखें तो एल्टीट्यूड पुनः कम होता जा रहा है। अभी हम लोग लगभग 135 मीटर की ऊंचाई पे हैं।
The sensors that are updating at this point are providing confirmation of the safety of the landing site.
About to land now.
As expected, the
This is our chairman, this is former chairman Kiran Kumar.
This is a
He is
very
our
good
director,
signature
Dr. B.
for the
Narayanan.
lander.
Prime Minister is
अभी
watching.
आप ये देख सकते हैं
He is watching
कि
from South Africa.
लैंडर की ऊंचाई लगभग 65 मीटर के आसपास बची हुई है।
Currently, only 2 engines are now being fired.
As I told you, now 2 engines are
And we are
closed and 2
nearly
engines only
at
firing. Slowly
zero
it is coming down.
velocity, vertical and horizontal. We were hovering and now we are approaching the
Almost
moon
from
surface.
150 meters it is coming down now.
धीरे धीरे लैंडर की वेगमान को कम किया जा रहा है और हम अब लगभग 50 मीटर से भी कम आ चुके हैं।
We can see the Honorable Prime Minister.
See, it has to be done very slowly. Otherwise, no,
who is
like a crash
here
landing,
to
it will happen.
encourage us. And he is critically looking at the visuals.
See the tension on his face.
जी हाँ आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम
See, this is how Prime Minister of India supported us. Though he is in South Africa G20 for that
People
slot,
are
he came.
applauding.
Okay, go to next slide. So, now lander has landed on the moon. This is the point where we have landed. Now inside lander, there is a small object called rover. It is like a small toy car, around 3 by 2.5, 3 feet by 2.5 feet. Its dimension, and it is having 6 wheels. That rover has come, moved out, and this is the rover. And this rover is having camera. That camera, using that camera, you can see this lander, which is safe landed, is shown here. This is the photo. Next, please. This is Vikram as seen by Pragyan. Vikram is the lander name, and Pragyan is the rover. And this is the payload called Chaste, where it has drilled the surface of the moon by 8 centimeter. At the depth of 8 centimeter, what is the gradient of the temperature is measured by using this instrument called Chaste. And this ILSA, that instrument is dropped on the surface of the moon to measure the seismic activity if it is happening on the surface of the moon. Next. And after 3 days, straight away Prime Minister landed from South Africa to the control center in Bangalore. And there was a few photographs I was lucky to have. You can see me here. And this is the view of the control center. This is the lander photo with some of us. Next. Now future we are having, now we have landed on the moon. Now there is some more experiment in the future programs where you people have to work, and for that continuous programs have been devised. So next program is we have to bring the samples from the moon. That is called Chandrayaan 4. Next. Now we will go to Aditya. There is one more spacecraft used. It is on the way. We have to reach 1.5 lakh kilometers from the surface of the Earth. So it is on the way to near the 1.5 lakh kilometer, where there is a point called Lagrangian point. In that point, the satellite is almost stable, and to maintain the required attitude and altitude, it requires a minimum point. That's why it is called Lagrangian point. So we will cover that program called Aditya L1. Next, please. So in Aditya L1 also we are having a similar propulsion system. Go next. See, this is the, I think there is a video. Can you just... See, there are 7 payloads in Aditya, mainly to study the sun. What is the sun X-ray? What is the reaction is happening in sun X-ray? Corona. What is the energy releasing mechanism happening? So these instruments are from different scientific institutions of our country, like Indian Institute of Astrophysics. Then there is a physics department in our Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, like that.
Payload images the solar disk.
You can slightly fast because you can find in the YouTube also.
Solar irradiance variations.
Take the next session.
Aditya Solar Wind
Already we have 5 minutes.
Experiment. Aspects and plasma analyzer package for Aditya. Payloads study the solar wind and energetic outputs.
Just move fast.
Energy distribution.
Move fast. You go to this video. There are 7 payloads. The description of 7. I can leave this video here. You can calculate later. What are the 7 payloads, instruments used? What is their application?
VELC studies the solar corona.
See, for that you should have a mechanism also to safeguard. That is, using that mechanism, that lid is opened. See, there I cannot go and open the lid. No, we should have a mechanism where we can give command from here and it opens. The photography in the camera, the satellite, where the instrument's photo is shown from the image taken by the satellite. So that how is the look, how moon looks and how Earth looks. This is a photo taken by the satellite, Aditya. Now if you see, green is the, see we have put the satellite in the green. Progressive firing we have done. Now we have almost reached this point. In the January, we are going to do one more activity wherein satellite will be in this orbit and constantly it can view the sun and give information about the activities happening in the sun. Next. So, now I have briefly touched upon the Chandrayaan mission, Aditya. Now what is the next mission? It's called Gaganyaan. We want to send safely, and safe return has to be made possible for our own fellow citizens. This is called Gaganyaan program, wherein as of now, 3 people will be flying in that. They will be there for around 2 to 3 days, and safely they are going to return. For this is called crew module, where 3 trained people will be will be going to a height of 400 kilometers, and they will be safely returned. This is the propulsion system which is used to take them and return them. Next, please. This is the propulsion system used for Gaganyaan, called service module. This is a crew module. Next. Go back, please. So when you are firing a rocket, you can see this pink flame. This is a lab test what we have done. Next. This is how the Gaganyaan mission. So launcher will put people who are sitting here, the magenta color what you are seeing now, in this orbit of 400 kilometers. This object will be rotating around the moon. At this point there will be a separation. The people who are in the crew module sitting, they will be safely returned using parachute. Finally, they will splash down on the sea. They will be recovered safely. This is the next program called Gaganyaan program or Human Space Program. Next. Now, towards this, we have done one experiment called crew escape system. That is, last month only it has happened. In the rocket, we have put this crew escape system. Assuming a case, people have sit inside, we are about to launch, and after launch, some emergency happened, they have to be safely brought back. This experiment is done, and we have injected to a height of around 17 kilometers. From there, the crew escape system was activated, and this was safely recovered. We can see the video now. Next. There is a video here. Can you just click? This is the... Okay, go ahead, please. And go to the video, please. My video is not working?
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here is the crew escape system. At the height of 17 kilometers, it was separated and it was safely recovered. The recovered modules you can see here. It is separated from the rocket. See, various tests we have to do before sending the people, because just immediately after the rocket lifts off, if some fault is happened, then we have to save the astronauts. That is why this experiment is done. Now you see, module is separated using parachutes. It is descending. Module is splashed on the sea and it is recovered as shown in this figure. Now, this Chandrayaan-3 mission has done one more activity. Entire people in the country, irrespective of the caste, creed, region, religion, it has brought them together. Everybody was enjoying or praying for successful of Chandrayaan-3. So we have given a glimpse. I don't know how far you are able to understand. Now there is a question for everybody maybe there. If I want to join ISRO, what is to be done? This is a slide we have added. Anybody who wants to get into ISRO, there are 2 options or 3 options. You can study in any engineering college, and every year there will be a written test conducted by ISRO. You can write that written test, you can pass. After that, there will be an interview, you can succeed. That is one route. Otherwise, this IIT entrance exam, everybody knows that JEE. Through that, if you score well, there is an exclusive institute called Indian Institute of Space Technology that is there in Trivandrum. There you can enroll yourself and you can pass that course, and if you have a very good score, directly you will be absorbed in ISRO. Then there are other routes. If you do MTech, there will be one route. If you do PhD, through the interview also, you can get. This slide I have added for you. If anybody wants to join ISRO in the scientific community, if you want to pursue career, this is the how you can do. That is why particularly for 11th and 12th students and 10th standard students also, we have added this slide. Okay. Next, please. This is how what is written in the written form. Next. Next. Yeah, this is a future evolution of the spacecraft. Go next. Next, please. I think in 1 hour, 5 minutes, able to complete. Thank you, everybody. Because of the paucity of time, I will leave my mobile number with the your authorities. Any question is there, you can WhatsApp me. Otherwise, this discussion will go on. I want to leave the forum to Shanbag to meet the time, because after lunch we have to leave to Bangalore. That's all my this thing. So I will leave the phone number. Any doubt is there, WhatsApp. But one thing I want to tell you, anybody can reach any height. The mantra is very simple. Hard work, maintain integrity, sincerity. With this mantra, you can live any height. Making money is not the important alone in life. Making money in the right way is the give peace of mind, internal health. You can see many billionaires, they are having a lot of money. They will not get sleep. Sleep you cannot buy money. Okay. So, dear students, I am also from a remotest village. I studied in the Satyasai institution, which is very near to here, called Alike. From there, I did my engineering, and it was, as it was told, masters I did. Then we are working in ISRO. We have not done any great work. Whatever work we have done, to the best of our ability we have done. It has culminated in the important project in the country. So what I am assuring that you work hard, success will be always there. Not only working hard, be sincere to the organization and wherever you work and to the country. Thank you, one and all. Actually, one day Shanbag called me when you were in office. ಪುತ್ತೂರಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ನಾನು ಓದಿದ್ದು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಏನು ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡ ಓದಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಊರು ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮಗೆ ಕಿವಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನು ನೀವು ವೆನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಔಟ್ ಅವೇ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಯುವರ್ ನೇಟಿವ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಈ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ. If you are in a foreign country, if you are from India, they will be very happy. That too from Karnataka, further happy. That is from Mangalore, further happy. That too from very near to native place, further happy. That too if you are talking Tulu, further it will add flavor. So, when Shanbag called, I readily agreed, because in ಕನ್ನಡ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪಂಪ ಮಹಾಕವಿ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ, ಅವನು ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬನವಾಸಿ ಅಂತ, ಸಿರ್ಸಿ ಹತ್ರ ಬನವಾಸಿ. ಯಾರು ಅಂಕುಶ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಊರಿನ ನೆನಪಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದೇ ಥರ ವೆನ್ Shanbag ಕಾಲ್ಡ್, ಐ ರೆಡಿಲಿ agreed, though I was not studied in institution, I studied in institution which is near to you. Alike is a famous institution which all of you. So thank you for your hospitality and welcome to both of us. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank our resource person, Shri Shambaya, for an informative session. This will help us to learn and grow. Thank you, sir. So the next, Shri Krishna Mohan Shanbag sir will take the session.
ವತ್ಸಲ ರಾಜ್ನಿಯವರೇ, ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನಾನೀಗ ಇಸ್ರೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದಂದರೆ ಅವರು ಕಲಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್, ಪಾರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಷನ್, I will not forget you from madam. I used it, now also I am using it. See, PUC is not a small place where you are studying. The fundamentals of all what we are doing today is there in PUC. Especially mathematics, and my physics teacher, I should remember him, Muditaya, I think he is there or not, I don't know. He was my physics teacher, and of course chemistry was Mr. Madhyastha and Indra madam, I think both are not there no more. But then I cannot forget these 4 people who has taught me the science. This is what I'm telling, and I'm very, very grateful to all of you, including Gopalakrishna, Satish, and all my people here. Vaman Pai, I think he's not there, who have really brought me here. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಸನ್ಮಾನಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ತುಂಬ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್. ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ, ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿದ್ದು 1980ರಿಂದ 84, ಸುಮಾರು 40 ವರ್ಷ ಮೊದಲು. ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನಾನು ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಮೊದಲು ಈ ಥರ ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ನನ್ನ ಊರು ಮಂಗಳೂರು, ಸೊ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್. ಇವತ್ತೊಂದು ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ ಬಂದಾಗುವಾಗ ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತದೆ. ನಾನು ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡ ಈ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆದಿದೆ. ಸೋ ಬಿಗ್ ದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ನೌ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ವೆರಿ, ವೆರಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಪ್ರೌಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆದಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಕ್ಕೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ರಿಯಲಿ, ರಿಯಲಿ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆರಿ ಪ್ರೌಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಶುರುವಾದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಸ್ಟೆಲಲ್ಲೇ 2 ವರ್ಷ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಆ ಹಾಸ್ಟೆಲ್ ಈಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಹುಡುಕ್ಬೇಕಷ್ಟೆ, ಇನ್ನೂ ನಾನು ನೋಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆ ಹಾಸ್ಟೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೆ, ನನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಹುಡುಕ್ತೇನೆ ನಾನು ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟಾಕ್. ಬಟ್ ದೆನ್ you people who are there now second PUC, as I told you, it's very, very, very critical time. ಇದು ಈಗ ನೀವು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫುಲ್ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋರು. ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ ನಾನು ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ವಾಸ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ಸೊ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಅಮೃತ್ ಸೋಮೇಶ್ವರ್ ಅವರು ನನಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಲಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದೇ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಂಶುಪಾಲರಾಗಿದ್ದರು. ತಾಳ್ತ ಜೆ ವಸಂತ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರು ನನಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಲಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪಾದೇಕಟ್ ವಿಷ್ಣು ಭಟ್ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ನನಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಲಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಕನ್ನಡವನ್ನು ನಾನು ಮರ್ತೋಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ along with the science you should have something other than what you are studying. That is also very important. ಕನ್ನಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾತೃಭಾಷೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಯಕ್ಷಗಾನ ಅಥವಾ ನಾನೀಗ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಮೃದಂಗ ನುಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಅದು ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದು ನಿಜವಾಗಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ನೀವು ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರಿ, ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಿಡಬೇಡಿ. ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರುವಾಗ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಯುವರ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮೊಬೈಲಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಟ್ ಆಲ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದೇನು ಬೇಕಿದ್ದರೂ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಲೈಬ್ರರೀಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಟುಡೇ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಲೈಬ್ರರೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್. ಬಟ್ don't get into social media. That is my very humble request, especially these 2 years. Don't get into the social media, WhatsApp, those things. These 2 years, remove that from your mind. Of course, you have throughout your life, you can enjoy that. So with these few words, I once again tell all of you who are sitting here, ISRO you can enter. And ISRO people are today, what were the people, ಅವರೇನು ಎಲ್ಲ ದೇವಲೋಕದಿಂದ ಇಳಿದವ್ರು ಬಂದವರಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮಂಥದೇ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿತು ಕನ್ನಡ, ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಾನು 10th ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದು, ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿತು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು PUC ಮಾಡಿ, PUC ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು, PUC ಮಾಡಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರು ಶಾಂಬಯ್ಯ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದಂತೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ISRO. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅವರು IIST ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್. ದ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್. ಊಟ ತಿಂಡಿಗೂ ಹಾಸ್ಟೆಲ್ ಚಾರ್ಜು ಕೂಡ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಸಚ್ ಎ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ISRO, ಬಿಕಮ್ ಎ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸರ್ವ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ನೇಷನ್. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದೊಂದು ಬೇರೆ ವಿಷಯ. ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ವಿಷಯ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ವಿಷಯವೇ ಬೇರೆ. ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಫೈನಲಿ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ಒಂಥರ ಆತ್ಮಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿರಿಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ISROದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಲಾಟ್ರಿ ಹೊಡೀರಿ, ಆದರೂ ಆ ದಿವಸ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ ದಿವಸ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡೆಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಮೂನ್, ಆ ಸಂತೋಷ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸಿಕ್ಕೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ವಿ ವರ್ಕ್, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ವಿ ವರ್ಕ್. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling me here. And myself and Shambhaya, you called and ತುಂಬ ಸನ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ತುಂಬ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your words. Now, I would like to thank you all for your patience listening. This session ends here, and I request all the students to go back to your respective classes.
ಏನಾದರೂ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ನಾನು ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಅವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನಾದರೂ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್. ಟೇಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಮೈಕ್, ಎನಿಬಡಿ ಸರಿ.
Dear students, please come back. Please come back. If you want to ask any question, you can ask. Now, interaction session will be there. This session will be handled by Sri Hari Shastri, Department of Physics, Vivekananda PU College.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I like to talk with you about black hole, sir. Did your ISRO team had been something made research in black hole or any progress in ISRO? Would you like to share with us, sir? Please. It will be an honor, sir.
ಓಕೆ, ಈಗ ಇಸ್ರೋ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದಿರಲ್ಲ, ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಇದೆ. ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಆನ್ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಹೋಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೊಪಲ್ಷನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಡಮ್. ಇನ್ನು ಇಸ್ರೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಈಗ ಆದಿತ್ಯ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನು ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಎ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ವರ್ಕ್ that is done a physical research laboratory of ISRO in another place. Some research works are done and it is published in the papers. Okay.
ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್. ಸೊ ನಾನೇನು ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ರೆ, ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ 1 2008 ಆಗಿದ್ದು, ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ 2 2019, ಯಾಕಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್?
ಓಕೆ, ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ 1ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಯಿತಾ. ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ 1ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟನ್ನು ಕಳಿಸಿ ಚಂದ್ರನನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಅದೇ ಥರ ನಾವು ಮಾರ್ಸನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಇಳಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಹೇಗೆ ಇಳಿಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇಳಿಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ದೂರದಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನು ಫೋಟೋಸ್ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ ಇಳಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇಳಿಬಾರ್ದಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 1 ಮಿಷನ್ ವಾಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 2ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗಿಗೂ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟಿಗೂ ತುಂಬ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಉಂಟು. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ತಿರುಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ತಾನೆ, ಅದರ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿ 0 ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬೇಕಾಯಿತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು 2 ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ, ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೊಪಲ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಜೋಡಿಸಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಅದು ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 2ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯಿತು. ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 2ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದು ನಮಗೆ ಇಳಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 2ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ತೆಗೆದ ಫೋಟೋಸ್ that was very 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 useful. ಆ ಫೋಟೋಸ್ ತೆಗೆದನ್ನು ಅದನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 3ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 3 ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಬೈ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ನಾವು ಇಳಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಈಗ ಮಾರ್ಸಿಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇನ್ನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾರ್ಸಿಗೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಮಾರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಓಕೆ.
Namaste sir. Why CubeSats are more expensive compared to other satellites?
Can you repeat the question?
CubeSat is more expensive compared to other satellites. Why sir?
CubeSats.
Yes.
CubeSats. Okay. So CubeSats is not more expensive than other satellite. Who told it is not expensive? CubeSats are cheaper actually. CubeSat ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ 1 feet by 1 feet by 150 ಸಣ್ಣ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್. ಅದು numbers will be more, not ಒಂದು. Lot of numbers will be there. So they may be, because of that you feel it is costly. ಹಾಗೇನಲ್ಲ, it is cheaper only. ಒಂದು ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದು ತುಂಬ ಚೀಪ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಟು ದಿ present satellite which we have. Okay?
Thank you sir.
Sir, what has been the role of artificial intelligence in our current missions?
Yeah, see, what is artificial intelligence? It takes some input and does its own work, correct? Chandrayaan 3 is a best example of artificial intelligence. Means it has taken the photo and it has found out where we have to land, and it itself decided the way how it has to come. So it is not artificial intelligence. So that means that whatever the computer which we had in Chandrayaan 3 had an artificial intelligence. Of course, the programming is done by taking so many inputs. Okay?
Namaste sir. Sir, why do we use only gold foils in satellites?
Gold coins?
Foils.
Okay, it is not gold foils. It looks like gold foil. It is a different type. It is a Kapton material. Okay, basically it reflects. It actually protects the satellite from radiation and also thermal. Radiation means, you know, so many protons and neutrons of very high velocity will be there in the space. So it can hit some places and it can damage the electronics parts which is there in the satellite. So to avoid all that, entire thing is covered with the foils. We call it as Kapton foils. It is not gold foil. It's a Kapton foil. Okay?
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಇದು ಈಗ ರೋವರ್ ಈಗ ಎಂತ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್తుంది ಸರ್? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ರೋವರ್?
ರೋವರ್ ಇಂದ
ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ರೋವರ್ ಸರ್?
ಓಕೆ, ಈ ರೋವರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಾವು ಯು ಆಲ್ ನೋ, ಚಂದ್ರನಿಗೆ 15 ದಿವಸ ಹಗಲು 15 ದಿವಸ ರಾತ್ರಿ. ಅಂದರೆ 15 ದಿವಸ ಅದು ರಾತ್ರಿ ಆಗೋ ಹೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ -200ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರನ್ನು ತಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಆ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಗಳಿಗೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ ಅದರ್ ವೇ, ಈ 15 ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದು ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಥರ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿ ಉಂಟು ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೋಲಾರ್ ಪವರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಯಿತು 15 ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಪುನಃ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಥಾಟ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವೊಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆವು, ಆಟೋಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಬರುವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಅದು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗುವಂಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೆಲವು ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸಚ್ ಲೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ಸ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಪ್. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೋಲಾರ್ ಪವರ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಿತ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಪವರ್ ಟು ದ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ಅದರ ಪವರ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ, 2 ವಾಟ್. ಸೊ ಅದು ಸಾಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪವರ್ ಇರುವ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಪವರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಓಕೆ
ಸರ್, ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ 3 ನಂತರ ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಉಂಟು ಸರ್?
ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅದು ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 4 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅದರ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಚಂದ್ರನನ್ನು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ವಾಪಸ್ ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ತರೋದು, ಅದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 4. ಬಟ್ ನಮಗೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವೀಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಇಸ್ರೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಗಗನಯಾನ್ ಮಿಷನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹಿ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್. ಮನುಷ್ಯರನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೇಸಿಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ವಿ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೂ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಓಕೆ,
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಸೊ anything? Last 2 questions? 1 or 2 questions is okay.
Sir, why Russia fails?
ಏನಮ್ಮ?
Russia why fails to do that?
ರಷ್ಯಾದ್ದು ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ ಯಾಕೆ ಫೇಲ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ರಷ್ಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ನೆವರ್ ಸೇ. ಬಟ್ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ವಿ ನೋ ಇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅವರು ಶಂಭಾಯಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಸ್ಪೀಡು ಸ್ಲೋ ಆಗಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಚೀವ್ಡ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಸ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್, ಇಟ್ ಹಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್. ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್, ಪ್ರಪಲ್ಷನಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದು ಅದರ ಸ್ಪೀಡನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಸೀದಾ ಬಂದು ನೆಲಕ್ಕೆ ಅಪ್ಪಳಿಸಿತು. ಅದು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 2 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದು, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲ್ ಆಗಿ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ರಷ್ಯಾದವ್ರದ್ದು ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 3 ಫೇಲಿಯರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಓಕೆ,
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಎನಿ 1 or 2 questions? Otherwise we can. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಯಾ,
ಆಗ ಶಂಭಯ್ಯ ಸರ್ ನಾಸಲ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ನಾಸಲ್ಸ್ ರಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದು
ಯಾವುದು?
ನಾಸಲ್ಸ್.
ನಾಸಲ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ.
ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಇದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಏರೋಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೆಲ್. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಏರೋಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ಆರ್ ಬೆಲ್ ನಾಸಲ್ಸ್?
ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ. ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಕ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದು ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಜಾಮೆಟ್ರಿ. ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಕ್ಸ್ ನಾಸಲ್ಸ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ನಾಸಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಫ್ರಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ರೋನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಥರ ನಾಸಲನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್.
So what will happen to the orbiters after few years?
Repeat please.
What will happen to the orbiters after few years?
Orbitals of the fields.
Orbiters. Of the? What will happen to the orbiters?
Orbiters.
Yes.
ಓಕೆ, ಆರ್ಬೈಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ, ಆರ್ಬೈಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಪಲ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆರ್ಬೈಟರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನೀನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ತಿರುಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದಲ್ವಾ. ನೌ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರೊಟೇಟಿಂಗ್, ಬಟ್ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಡಿಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರಿಮೆಂಟ್. ಅದನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ತರುವ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 2 ಆರ್ಬೈಟರ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಿವ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 3 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಇದೇ ಥರ ಆರ್ಬೈಟರ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅದನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ತರಿಸುವ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಚಂದ್ರಯಾನ್ 3 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್, ತಗೊಂಡು ವಾಪಸ್ ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮೊನ್ನೆದ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಅರ್ತ್, ವೆರಿ ನಿಯರ್ ಟು ದಿ ಅರ್ತ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ನಾವು. ಓಕೆ,
Will it be there permanently?
ಈಗ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ, ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ವಾಪಸ್ ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ತರುವಂಥ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಗೀತು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಮುಗೀತು. ಇನ್ನದು ವಾಪಸ್ ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ತಾನೇ ಬೇಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗ್ದೋಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಬಿ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಸುಮಾರು ವರ್ಷ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದೇ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಲ್ಲಿ ತಿರುಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ,
Thank you, sir.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With this, our first session ends. Our first session ends here. So students, you can go back to your classes.